Yes or no?
Yes or no? Mr. Capasso? Yes or no? The question, we're just going to go down the road, okay? Would you support an ordinance that would ban smoking in bars and gaming facilities in our city? Yes or no?
Yes.
Pass.
In a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
The next question, we will begin with District E, with Mr. Andre Kelly. All candidates will now answer this question. The question is, much concern has been expressed over leadership of the New Orleans Police Department, linking it to perpetuating high violence, high crime in New Orleans. What changes, if any, would you recommend in the leadership and operation of the force that would effectively reduce crime?
The head of NOPD would be the responsibility of the mayor to put in place, and the person that he sees fit to run that department of the city. In District E, however, I would put the onus on the residents, give them opportunities to police their own areas, and giving them the ability to take leadership in their own areas, because the police can't cover every area of the city, especially District E with only the 7th district and with the biggest landmass in the entire city.
Ms. Willard-Lewis?
I think we need to engage in strategies that build trust and that encourage morale within the department and within the citizens of the great city that our men and women are here to serve. Leadership not only within the department but outside, in terms of communication, in terms of accountability, checks and balances, assessments of where people have been disrespected. And we need to make sure that the Inspector General's office is adequately funded and able to do the appropriate reviews so that people do indeed feel that there is some follow-through when they made complaints. Leadership should be at the top, but leadership should also be outside. And we need to engage the community more directly with the entire team.
Thank you. Mr. Capasso?
Police officers or public employees, first responders, same issue before. Listen to them, let them have a seat at the table. Number one, cameras on police officers. Even Mr. Surpass, who sometimes I don't agree with, he understands 25% of the grievances and complaints will go down, protecting the police and the people. Number two, collective bargaining. Give people the chance. In other cities it happens that if you have good cops, which I am so pro-cop because they're public employees, but there's a couple of judges in this room that know there's some dirty cops out there, and I see them every day at Tulane and Broad. I'm not afraid to admit it. We have to get rid of the ones that are bad. But the thing is, reward people for doing good things. I support the residency rule, but reward people for staying here. Don't bash them if they have a house in St. Tammany and they've lived here 20 years, but make people feel better about living here by giving them more incentives, like other candidates said about education and incentives.
Thank you. Mr. Coleman?
Solving the problem with NOPD is probably the number 2 problem for the administration. We need leadership. That's the problem. We've lost so many officers because of the bad leadership in the police department. The police chief gets a certain amount of extra salary or extra compensation when he's able to do details for the Super Bowl or has a son-in-law working for the crime camera company. These things need to stop. And cops want to follow somebody that they believe in, just like the civil service workers. We need to fully fund the descent to creek, and we need to maybe take a look at a temporary lift of the residency law in order to get our numbers up, but they won't be able to gain any more advancement, meaning that you come in as a P2, you'll stay at a P2 unless you move back in the city, and make sure we have those loans to get those houses to get us in a good.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Guidry?
Excuse me. Is it on? Hello. The leadership in our police department is certainly something we need to look at and we need to continue to assess.
But the crisis in our police department has come as a result of a number of things happening. First, our inability to hire police for 2-3 years in a row when we were doing furloughs of our employees and that type of thing because of the amount of debt we had. So we lost officers and did not gain them back. Second, the consent decree, which has been a very difficult thing and made our officers feel very insecure. If we need to embrace that consent decree, and a lot of what we're doing now is, I think, going to help. The pay details and what the consent decree has done to that has also created a lot of insecurity to work on. Thank you.
Mr. Ward?
Biggest change would be to take the police, fire, EMS, public safety, emergency preparedness, all that, get it out of the mayor's office, put it under the sheriff. Give you one person whose sole job is crime and public safety, and y'all hold his feet to the fire like nobody else. As far as the actual NOPD goes internally, very simple. If you're a policeman, you commit a crime, 0 tolerance, you're fired. If you're a policeman and you see the crime happening, you choose not to get out of your car and do something about it, not only are you fired, you go to jail. And finally, the only crime walk I want to see going on in New Orleans is where there is a police officer walking his butt down the street every day and every night on foot in New Orleans in every one of our neighborhoods. That's it.
Ms. Ramsey?
The mayor appoints the police chief, we all know that, but that does not mean that they are not obligated to be